Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Farm. Thinking right out here in the lab. What I do for you. I've been in the book all day, so I got another lesson for you. You know how we do them. I got to keep them coming to you. We coming close to the end of the first lesson. Let's go. Right thinkers. Writism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's rock. Right thinking mission. Yeah, that's what I'm on. It's to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help you and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. Your right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. Tune in, get the lessons that I set forth for you on a daily basis, and the outcome will be you to know thyself. Let's put it together and make it happen. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not, excuse me, a person who knows not and knows not that they know not is simple. Foolish, excuse me. Avoid them. Disregard them. I'm on discombobulated. Sorry about that. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You can teach them. That's why I do what I do. For you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. Person who knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. How can I awaken them? I'm a spiritual alarm clock, here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I wrapped up the last lesson because I'm down to the bottom where I wanted to be. And this is going to be a bunch of freestyling from here on because I can get a breakdown from my perspective. I don't really need the book to do that. This is where we are, the bottom row. Tree of life, cosmic onomythograph. The concept is right now, right thinkers, let's talk about the cosmic trinity, Ra, Nethep, Nethotep, and Ayusep Aseti. Alright. These are three trinity that helps creation that's outside of the creation from inside. I'm breaking it down for you as we go. And if we have a little more time, I'm going to take you to the end of the chapter, and they got a question and answer, and they got a little question for you to question yourself. You want to keep a journal, you get it, sign it, lesson 1, because the question going to be from this first lesson that we went through, okay? The whole idea is to learn as you go. If you're going to go and don't learn, why go? Show the suitable proficiency so you can continue to go on. As a Mason, you couldn't get another degree from me if you didn't show me what? Suitable proficiency in the preceding degree. That means what I gave you, master that. Let me know you got it, and I'll give you some more. That's how it's done. So let's go. Let's talk about the Trinity. But first, we're going to end up the bottom of the cosmic mythograph tree. I just showed you that. And it starts, I told you before, it starts with a star. Number 6 on the scale, 1 to 10. Now we get into spiritual aspect. A star represents the eternal soul. Okay, that's what's inside us. That's when God got into his creation. Before that, everything was perfect. Everything was fine. Something missing. Him, his spirit, and his creation. Hence, he became a star, the eternal soul. His mate was Aset. She represents wisdom, intuitive knowledge, also immortality. Set, I broke him down, the ego. You have to understand, Set is just uncouth. How about that? Couth meaning know when to say, when not to say. Uncouth is just saying anything to come out your mouth, okay? Some people call it redneck hillbillies, but no, it's couth. Knowing when to say the right thing. Uncouth is not knowing when to say the right thing. So, Set is uncouth. But if you ever got into a situation where you needed somebody to be down with you, that's what you want. You want him to behind you. Okay, Set, get behind me. Yeah, I want him to watch my back. Why? He ain't gonna give up. That's why. So the fight is him. That's the whole concept about him being the dog. You inside you, ain't the size of your dog in the fight. Is the size of the fight in you. That's who Seth represents, and he's a fighter. He fights for Ra every night against the prophets. Another story. But yeah, understand that he is not the devil. Not a bad guy. Again, he proved that as you go through. You see, entropy gets him in position where if you use him the way he needs to be used, he's the best worker. Again, now we got number 9, which is Nephthan, which is Seth's wife, sister. But I saw, as I said, they had offspring. When you take spirit and you take intuitive wisdom knowledge, the offspring would be Haru. That's the aspirant. That's us wanting to be our best self and redeem our father's murderer or killer, which is what? The ego self. Don't let the ego kill you. She taught her son one thing. Don't be destroyed by your ego. They put him in the uncle form, so but that was the whole concept, all right? Understand that. That's life lessons mentally. Don't give in to what? The ego side, the dark side. Y'all go, okay, Star Wars took it and just made it the dark side and the force. I ain't going there. Real simple. He made it. He broke it down. So even I love it. They eating it up. I enjoyed it, but I read the book before I see the movie, which come out that way anyway. But I was in prison. I read The Return of the Jedi. I was already a Jedi. I was already mind playing and mind tricking people already. So ain't nothing new under the sun. So let's talk about this bottom part, the cosmic mythogram. So there you see. So they may seem, again, I forgot the last 2. Net Hotep, she represents rest. And you got Ayusea Seti, she represents movement. They go together with Ra. That's the Trinity that we're going to talk about in a minute. So let's talk about this quick, the bottom of the last tree I just told you about. My crew. This is my crew. Oh, number 10. Forgot to tell you that one. Bottom of the scale. He don't have no connection to nothing. Okay? Between it's him and Ra, Haru Earth. He's the master that we all want to reach on Earth, self-mastery, aka master on Earth, okay, in the flesh. Sound familiar? All right, here we go. Let's go. I got some good reading to do and get this out of the way. So it seemed to appear at the bottom of the cosmic lithograph instead of the Dua realm, along with the Tahuti, Maya, and Haru. But in reality, they are not at the bottom. They, including Ra, are surrounding the creation as if the world is inside a sphere. Perfect concept. However, this side of sphere. And the sphere there is what? We recognize God as a circle because once the 2 lines connect, you don't know where to start and where to end. That represents God. And the dot in the middle lets you know that he's always equally balanced throughout the circle, equanimity. Okay, and so there are spheres. With the sphere, there's no top or the bottom. They encompass creation, but we must also, as humans, in the mind that outside of this sphere of creation, there's a universe. That's what I'm telling you about the Trinity now of creation. That's what helps sustain creation. And there is also spirit. Thus, spirit is what? Is within and without. I'm going to put a pin right there for a second. I talked to the AI about religious concept. He's funny, so we just got to understand. He's looking, man. I'm not going to be able to tell you more. It's funny. But I asked him about God being outside of man because the Garden of Eden, he comes to find Adam and Eve. So that means he's outside of them. So I asked him, he said, yeah, in biblical concept. I said, my man, we don't teach that to Egyptian. He said, yeah, it's a different. I said, so who you running with? He said, I can't make that decision. He would take sides. I asked him who was the best. He wouldn't answer. But the concept was, he said, yeah, they believe God was outside, so I got to follow with religion. Why? If you took God outside of man, I ain't messing with you. But now watch this. I'm going to read this to you. Now, they say, God, we must also keep in mind that what? That outside of this sphere, of creation, which was the universe, there is also spirit. Thus, spirit is within and without. Okay, I'm a bend a little bit on that one. However, okay, let's get to the real deal. In this three-dimensional model, when lines are connected between the Trinity encompasses the obelisk and the creative principles contained in it, meaning that it governs them. They follow this pattern. They don't control it. It governs them. That's nature. We don't control God's functions, okay, in nature. Understand that. Where we at? So, right here, this includes, okay, now, the goddess, Net Hotep, and Ayusea Seti are important aspects, again, of the Anoyan theology. Why? And are closely associated with Ra, and together with Ra, they form an important trinity. I showed you the triangle. Oh, I didn't. I don't know if I did. But this is what they represent. Okay. See the circle of creation? That's what we talk about. The sphere and everything is in there. But it's the universe outside of that, and that's what they're showing you. He controls that also. Okay? So he's not only in his creation, he's also outside the creation. That's what they're telling me. That's what I'm breaking down to you so that you can understand that he's everywhere. That's what they're telling you. So the goddess, right, we have the goddess Nephotep, they were okay, important in the creation, right there. And they come together with Ryan Trinity, which circumscribes the nature of creation. Again, the circle and the triangle. The breakup. The square there too. If you want Masonic paper, you have a square at the bottom. But let's go. Now, engendered by the primal force, aka spirit, the divine fire, which is read by Ra, of the supreme being, Ra, through Heka. Heka means speaking words, and you speak words, you speak it into existence. So they call it words of power, sound of power. Time and space are actually relative to aspects that come to exist through the motion of objects in space, essentially. So therefore, creation consists of the ever dynamic fire. What's this? Of the spirit which operates through energy. Remember this one? Sekhem, serpent power. That's what the Egyptians called it. They call India. They call it Kundalini and chakras. Okay, which sustains Ankh. For them, the Ankh meant life. They all carry the Ankh in their hands. Everybody. My man, the Ankh man, called the key of life. That's my dude over in New York. He's a police officer. He would have his gun on one side and the Ankh on the other. He said, if I got a destruction on one side, I'm carrying a life on the other. He never had to use his gun. That's a good man. And the elements and the relative motion of objects within the matrix. Again, we in the matrix. We always knew that. Spiritual matrix, electronic energy matrix. Now they're showing you how the government has put us in a simulation matrix where they can control and dictate. That's the difference. My man said that wasn't a movie, that was a documentary. Everybody better start working on their neoism. And when you have watched it within the matrix of creation, that's that. She covers the world through energy. Hadu supplies the energy. Maya supplies the order. It's all esoteric and symbolic, but if you understand it, it makes a lot of sense. You understand in nature, for real, okay, how it works. However, the spirit, here you go, underlies all, and therefore it can move nowhere since it is everywhere. See? Objects in creation move in and through the spirit and are rooted, dependent, but on spirit for their existence. Everything needs to have spirit in order to exist. Without it, dead. I'm going to prove that to you in a minute. We're getting that too. Now, if objects was to be completely motionless in space, there would be no existence. Why? Good question. For example, all hearts would be still. It's not good. IUSNT means motion. The heart needs that. Okay, the body needs Nephotep, which is rest. break it down for you. We getting there. I'm trying to get you to follow along the concept. And when you understand it like that, it makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to walk you through it so you can get understanding. I ain't trying to talk over your head, misinform you or get you the wrong idea. I want you to really understand it so that way you can use it. That's my point. That's my goal. Here you go. And what's up? We at? Okay, if the heart would stop moving, what? It would be still, and what happened? No stars would burn, no heat would be produced, no friction, no movement, dead, death. And no life could exist. Why? Because no metabolic functions. Again, that's why God did those things. Why? He knew what he was doing. Conscious, all conscious. They know functions could occur. No metabolic function occur without what? Movement, friction, vibration. Now, if objects were to be in perpetual motion, what happened? Then there will also be no creation. Why? Because the motion itself would become a constant that would allow no awareness of existence, no replenishment, no recognition or recreation of elements, food, stuff, or fuel would be possible. Why? All would be used up and all would what? Cease to exist. Again, you got to have one. You can't have one without the other. Why? If it go too far that way, it's not good. Too far the other way, not good. You got to have the right balance. That's what Maya comes in at. Okay? In everything. Every decision I make is based on Maya philosophy. Everything I do, I'm going to weigh it out and see what the pros and cons. That should be a decision-making factor anyway, but I've adopted that as a way of life. That's all. And you can do it, and it works. She never fail you. What? She just tell you what you need to do. Good, bad, your choice. Once she lets you know good and bad, now it's up to you. We teach our children good from bad. What? Hold them accountable. It don't change. It haven't changed. The same thing. Moving on. So I'm trying to get you to understand that. Nature dictates what nature is. We just fall in line. And watch this. Things would cease to exist. But when you have awareness, is a factor of what? Relative motion. It is an action that the mind performs. The mind don't stop. The heart don't stop. So those two things is constant motion. If that action were to cease, what happened? The world would also cease to exist from what? The perspective of that mind that has ceased to operate, to move, nothing will happen. Now, understand that. When you have, again, this is a triangle of outside of nature. I mean, outside of the sphere, you still got stuff going on. And without everything being in order and running like it should, nothing's going to work. Okay? Now the Trinity of Kepler. Ra, Nephotep, and Ayusa. Ayusaseti. It's spelled Iusasety. I can't get that USA in there for nothing. But yeah, I got you. Let's go. But that's the concept. And the task of creation, we're talking about the creation concept now, is what? To balance the principles of rest and movement, Nephotep and Ayusaseti, in the order to what? Bring about the universe. Again, in which consciousness can perceive it. Again, he already knew we had to be able to what? Perceive the universe for where it was and what it is, the microcosm of what we are. So therefore, relatively speaking, there is motion and motionlessness. From an abstract perspective, however, there is no motion, since in reality no creation has actually occurred. So if one were to discover existence where, beyond the apparent creation, the motion of relative reality, one would what? You ready for this? Discover the absolute and the transcendental nature of all existence. Becoming one with the all, you fall right on in there. This idea will be expanded on later. Okay. Now, an ordinary human being, that means you're unenlightened. That means you don't know yourself. You're an ordinary human being. Don't know you're a spiritual being having human experience. You just think you're human. So you use your five senses, whatever you can taste, touch, smell, see, or feel. You go with that. You got to use this. Now, watch this. In your ordinary human life, there is more motion than motionlessness. You think? Yeah. Why? Break it down for you. From the time a person gets up in the morning, motion. Body in motion stays in motion, but the time you get up in the morning, what? Until you go to bed at night, you are in what? For the most part, talking, thinking, desiring, yearning, imagining, remembering, hoping, etc. You're going through the gambit of what the mind goes through on a day-to-day basis. That's all motion. Then it's what? Time to go to sleep. Your mind don't go to sleep. Your body needs to rest. So it's time to go to sleep. Now you're going to what? The dream state, which is another form of what? The same thing you went through in the waking state, which occurred while what? While you was awoke. Now you're asleep. The brain's still doing, the heart's still going to pump blood. All the functions still going to work. And you ain't even aware of it. Okay? Next level. For a short time, the mind may what? Experience dreamless sleep. That's when you go to that realm. Okay? A lot of people that come back, you just feel so relaxed. We all been there. Didn't know we went there. Didn't know what was going on. But we all been there in our minds. When you go into the dreamless sleep state, which offers what? Now a respite from the what? The constant movement of your mind during the day. It don't have to be aware of nothing while you're in the bed asleep. So the body, the five senses, is no use to the conscious mind once you go to sleep. So it's all what? Up here. But that is not enough to allow what? Your mind to perceive higher consciousness. Sleeping and resting don't get you there. Meditate and letting it do its own thing, so to speak. And watch this. Sleeping, the mind won't perceive higher consciousness. Transcendental nature of existence. You'll never become enlightened. Just enough to replenish the mind so as what? Just to allow the personality, you, to continue to exist as in what? You ready? Ignorant human being. Not knowing yourself. So you're ignorant, and you will get up every day, go through the motion, think you're doing something, going up, and you really ain't doing nothing. So the task of a follower of right thing of philosophy is not a religion, but and a practitioner. But the Netarian metaphysics is to find what? You ready? The place wherein there is motionlessness, and then to discover that God is to be what? Perceived and experienced. Right there. You can perceive him, you can believe in him, but you have to experience him. That's the ticket for the mystic experience for all religious people. If you follow the tenets, you will have your mystic experience if it's done right. If it don't happen for you, you're doing something like the combination. You can turn the turn forever. If you don't hit the right combination, that thing ain't gonna open. Good analogy like that. So that's the whole part about God. And there, watch this. You have to perceive him and experience there, since what? God exists where? In the world of motion, as well as out of it where there is no motion. So he's in his creation and he's also out. No problem there. Okay? But if the human being were to what? Discover, wake up, and become enlightened, that aspect of consciousness existing in a motionlessness of the mind, they would also go beyond what their mortal and finite human personality to do what? Know that the body, mind, senses are not all there is. There's another level. Thank you. Here you go. However, existing as an ego personality, that's who you are when you're ignorant of your higher self. You're just going on ego. That means you without God. Your ego personality and perceiving with what? The mind of your senses. Again, just the physical body. That's not enough. Which are in perpetual motion, prevents, okay, it prevents you, the human being, from perceiving the transcendental aspect of what? Reality. You caught up in the mix. You can't see forest for the trees. So a discipline, a ritual practice, or right thing of philosophy practice daily, or what? Purification and meditation and following the philosophical introspection is enjoined to what? Enable the mind to slow down, even temporarily stop. God tell you, still yourself. I want to talk to you and know that I'm God. How are you going to know him if you ain't paying attention listening to him and give him his time? All you want to do is pray God, oh God, oh God, oh God. You ain't took time out to give him time to talk to you. Think about it. And watch this. It will slow down the mind and sometimes even temporarily stop it. Why? You don't have to think. God, he do all that if you just stop your mind and lean out on your own understanding. All that. Y'all talk a good game and don't got a clue what the hell you're talking about. So you can't be using it. Sorry about that. In order to discover your essential nature of your spirit self, you have to stop, meditate, and listen. That's the phrase that's been hanging around for years. I'm almost done. Yeah, next page. You got two places, the physical realm and the astral realm. And guess what? They are the same place, but just in different dimensions. This program of discovery of the cosmic anomystogram, discovery is accomplished through what? Daily worship of who? The divine. Not weekly, not every now and then, daily, and learning about them, the God aspect of your personality, and then meditating upon them. I've been telling you that for the longest. And with the idea of what? By doing this, you identify what? With them, embodying their characteristics, and manifesting, here you go, manifesting them, and finally, what? You ready? Mastering their principles and thereby rendering those principles effective in your daily life. We call it Maya philosophy. I call it now right thinking philosophy. But when you practice that, that's what happens. That's the purpose. And beginning at the bottom, right? The personality, what? Discovers each principle. I just walked you through them in the tree of life in a particular order. And what happens? Eventually, you, the ignorant human personality, ego self, which was impelled by what? With ignorance, now becomes what? Void, and now your aspirant takes up his or her rightful place as one with what? The netters, masters of gods and goddesses, aka all the aspects of themselves. So you end up saying, I know thyself, the God in me, I know that. Then you be such an advanced aspirant or right thinker that the movements of the world as if it's ceased, and the rest of the spirit, which moves nowhere, becomes what? Ever-present reality for you. You living in God's grace. You living in that state of bliss, happiness, contentment, what? With yourself. It comes from within, not from things. Self-knowledge, that's the highest level, that's the highest knowledge you can attain. So that's knowing thyself, aka Nihas. I'm gonna wrap this up with the Capri, that Hotep, and Asuete triangle right quick. In closing, you should be thinking of these icons I just gave you, the gods and goddesses, which is aspects, as physical principles that you can manifest, as well as concepts. Why? Because they operate through physical creation. If it's good enough for the universe, it should be good enough for you. And everything has these aspects in some measure. If you delve deeper into all the matters, do your due diligence, you'll come up self-mastery in no time. The Anuian theurgy is important. Why? Because it is the oldest. It's still being practiced. What they say? Theurgy of Kemet, and it gives rise to all other theurgies. I told you, all the religions came out of Egypt and of ancient Egypt. All of the other theurgies, aka religions, theologies, have a base in the Anuian theurgy concept. Why? As you saw with the other iconomythograph, the one of the gods and goddesses and their relationship to plate number one, we demonstrated what? that all of the divinities of the varying Kemetic theologies are really related to each other, and you should understand the fundamental theory or theology of the Netarianism in this way, and that will actually simplify and clear up a lot of what issues of confusion that's related to the so-called polytheism of our ancient Kemetic religion and the African religion in general. This concludes the lesson. It says Hotep in peace, and I'm about to shut it down because I got a Q&A that I'll save for later. But now, lesson 1 is over. Right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minutes a day. So I never know that right thinker like you who passed away. I got to get some space. I'm out.